Hello everyone, happy American Heart Month from the Health Promotion Disease Prevention team. Did you know that cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death among men and women in the United States? The good news is cardiovascular disease is largely preventable through lifestyle changes like healthy eating. So a healthy diet high in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean sources of proteins, as well as healthy fats can be very protective for our heart. So today we'll be learning more specifically about healthy fats, and we'll be cooking up a demo here for you so you can learn a little more about how to incorporate these heart healthy fats into our diet. So you may ask, what is a heart healthy fat? Well, heart healthy fats are typically derived from plant-based sources. So some examples would include nuts, seeds, plant-based oils, as well as avocados. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Today we'll be making a kale salad with seasonal fruits, and we'll also be making a very simple 3-ingredient vinaigrette dressing. And what I love about this dressing is that it's so simple to whip up. You likely have a lot of these ingredients in your pantry already. And it's also super multi-purposeful. So not only can you incorporate it into a dressing, you could also use it as a marinade on chicken breast or on fish. And you could even incorporate it into your favorite pasta salad. So today we'll be using for our 3-ingredient dressing, our oil today is sunflower oil. So the building blocks to a salad dressing includes an oil, as well as an acid of some type. So our acid we're going to use today is a balsamic vinegar. And then the last thing you'll need is what we call an emulsifier. So an emulsifier helps bind the oil with the vinegar. So we know that oil does not like water and they repel from each other. So we need something to really glue them together. So that's where the Dijon mustard is going to come into play today. So we already have everything measured out here. We have a 1/2 cup of sunflower oil. And with your ratios, it's going to be 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. So we have a 1/4 cup of the balsamic vinegar we're adding in. And sunflowers are a traditional food in Native American culture, and they've been traditionally grounded and pounded into a fine texture and incorporated into breads, cakes, and even into a nutritional mush. So now I'm going to just give it a nice whisk. And what we'll see here is that, like I said, water and oil don't like each other, so they're going to start to separate, which is why we're going to add a tablespoon of the Dijon here. We're just going to give it a nice whisk. And sunflower oil is rich in an unsaturated fat that we call polyunsaturated fat. And this is an essential fat that we need in our diet because our bodies aren't able to make polyunsaturated fats on their own. And these polyunsaturated fats play essential roles in our body, like they help with blood clotting, they help with us managing our muscle movements, and they can even help fight off inflammation. So next we're gonna come over to our salad station. We're working with kale today as our green, but you can really substitute with any of your favorite greens. So spinach, collard greens, mustard greens, whatever your favorite green is. And then always trying to purchase seasonally when we can. So when we purchase fruits and vegetables in season, they're more likely to be affordable, they're more flavorful, and they're also at their prime in terms of their nutrition. So I went ahead and already chopped the kale up finely. So when working with your kale, you'll just want to remove the leaves from the stem. And you can use your hands to do this, or some may prefer you just using a knife to give it a rough chop. So we have about 4 or 5 cups of shredded kale here. And we're gonna go ahead and add in our 3-ingredient dressing. What I'll also say about this dressing is that you can really just play it up with your favorite ingredients. So maybe instead of sunflower oil, you want to use another heart healthy oil like olive oil. You could also try canola oil. So these oils are also considered high in unsaturated fats, plant-based sources, which are very protective for our heart and can help lower our risk of heart disease. And Research shows that when we replace saturated fat in our diet, so saturated fat comes from sources like butter, lard, really animal products like fatty meats as well as cheese. If we replace some of those fats with these heart-healthy unsaturated fats that come from our oils, come from our nuts, it can really help decrease our risk of cardiovascular disease and help limit that harmful cholesterol levels in our blood. So once we pour the dressing in, we're just going to give it a nice toss. Now kale it has a reputation for being a little bitter. So when we add our dressing and just kind of work that in, it can really help just break down some of the fibrous texture and make it a little softer and help cut out a lot of that bitterness. And you may even want to let it sit for like an hour in your fridge to soften it more and help again offset some of the bitterness if kale's not your favorite. Okay, and then today we're going to incorporate about a cup and a half of apples. So apples are a really great kind of just all seasonal fruit, very affordable. So I chopped up the apples, so we'll mix those in. And then we're going to add a little bit of diced up celery today to give it a little crunch. You could also add like chopped green onions, leeks would be really great in this. So you can see how colorful it is, which means it's packed with nutrients that are going to promote our heart health. We're also going to incorporate about a 1/3 cup of dried cranberries today. And then lastly, we have some sliced almonds. So almonds are a great heart healthy fat. They're a monounsaturated fat, which have been shown to help improve our blood lipid profiles. And really, some research is even showing it may help with lowering our blood pressure. So other monounsaturated fat sources would be olive oil, as well as avocados. So we'll end by just dumping our nuts in. And again, you could use walnuts, almonds, whatever your favorite nut may be. And this also gives us a little protein in our dish today from the nuts. I do want to mention, if you are cooking with heat, with oils, it's important to be aware of the smoke point of the oil. So what that means is that when we're heating oil, when it gets to a certain temperature, it will reach a smoke point where the oil will start to smoke. And when this process happens, a lot of the nutrition is lost, and it can even be harmful to our bodies and cause some cancer compounds. So we want to be careful of that. So most oils on the grocery shelf are refined oils, which means they've been chemically treated to withstand higher temperature heating. So sunflower oil like we use today, olive oil, canola oil, even the sesame oil would be good options for sauteing or roasting if you are going to apply heat. They are meant to withstand medium to high temperatures because they have a higher smoke point. So just be aware of that. If you see any oils that are labeled as unrefined or cold pressed, they haven't been chemically treated. These are still really great to incorporate into our diet because they're really high in those antioxidants, which are great for our health. But if you're going to purchase an unrefined or cold pressed oil, you're better off not cooking it. So that would be great in a salad dressing or pasta salad recipe, but trying to avoid heating those types of oils. I hope you enjoyed learning more about how to create this super simple dressing as well as the salad. We'd love to hear from you if you try this recipe out. What's great about the salad is that it allows for so much personalization. So whatever is your favorite fruits, vegetables, you can get creative with the dressing. Maybe you want to use apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar instead of the balsamic, and like I said, whatever oil you may have on hand. Other emulsifiers, instead of using the Dijon, you could try using honey, avocado would even work, or a little bit of mayonnaise to help bind the oil and the acid together. Lastly, I'll just mention that with oils and these heart-healthy fats are so great for us and can lower our risk of cardiovascular disease when we replace them with saturated fats. However, moderation is still important. So they are super calorie or energy dense. So just being mindful of that too. Typically, a serving size of oil is going to be about 1 tablespoon. Please comment, let us know something that you learned today, and have a great day, everyone. Happy Heart Month.